Look, all I'm saying is I'm angry. All right? I'm going to start the talk off like that.
Okay, man.
As always, it's Alessandra Tryhard here with the ever-famous and popular. Introduce yourself.
The Colonel Clinic, let's go!
All right, so today, I don't put dates on these because it's not like it's going to come out tomorrow or anything like that. But today, I picked up the Centertown News. For those of you that don't know what the Centertown News is, I didn't know what the Centertown News was, and I've lived in Ottawa for 20 years.
So you don't need to know what the fuck
So you don't need to know what it is. All I know is it's basically downtown Ottawa's version of a fucking newspaper. All right? I pick it up today, and what's in the news? Oh, the March of Solidarity for Women's Rights to Support Feminism. It's the second annual because don't you know the first one took place once Donald Trump was controversially elected into office. Apparently it's a controversy when you get elected in a democracy and they recount the votes and you're still in, and then there's no state votes that are missing, but you're still in and you're the president unanimously.
Well, not unanimously, but...
Alright, sorry. Okay, so if it goes 52 to 48, you won, right?
Yeah, you won.
And I'm saying if it goes 55 to 45, you won.
Yeah.
If it goes 99 or if it goes 100 to 1 or 0, then you won.
Yeah.
So he won. So get the fuck over it. People voted for him. It's probably your neighbors, alright? All I'm gonna say is I'm gonna go on record right here. If I was in the States, I would have voted for him. Because you look at the bullshit going on here in Ottawa, right? You look at the fact that right now we've got our minimum wage just went up to $14.
Yep.
And we lost 30,000 jobs in the city.
Yep.
All right? Now they're talking about in 2019 it going up
They're going to 15.
and TD Canada Bank is projecting 90,000 jobs lost.
Probably be more.
Bank of Canada is projecting 60,000 jobs lost, and the actual Liberal Party itself is only projecting that we're going to lose 40,000 jobs. So if you're projecting that we're going to lose 40,000 jobs, why is this a good idea? Look, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this right now, and I'm not going to forget what I opened this up on, because today's talk is on someone please help Ottawa. All right? Maybe it's us. Maybe we're the voice. But all I'm saying is I'm going to say this now, and y'all can interpret it however you want. People need help in the sense that they want something, but as you're an elected official, it's not up to you to give it to them. You're supposed to know better. All right? People wanted weed legalized. That was one of the huge platform points that Trudeau got in on. It's been 2 years. Still can't smoke. Still can't do shit. You're still getting arrested if you do it.
It's going to be done this year.
All right. Seeing is believing. But all I'm saying is people wanted that. And now they don't even know why the fuck they wanted that. And they don't see behind how it would affect them.
I think that's the biggest problem.
Everybody thought, okay, weed's legalized. That's dope. I'm still going to call Jimmy, and I'm still going to go get my shit for $10 a gram. Actually, he sells me a gram and a half for $10 because I'm his boy, you know? And I'm going to call Jimmy. That's going to be legit. Except, no, wait, hold up. Not only can you not call Jimmy anymore because Jimmy's still illegal, but if I stop you in the street and I question where you got it from, you need to provide me with a receipt, and I need to know that it came from somewhere where it was taxed. All right? So I don't know why people thought they could just not see it that way or it'd be different. But now rolling into another issue, which is minimum wage. All right? Everybody was like, oh my God, minimum wage right now is $11.85. Why? Why can it not be higher? We want a higher minimum wage. All right. You got to think about it this way. What does minimum wage affect? Minimum wage affects the working poor and lower class. It doesn't really affect the middle class. In a way it does. Because middle class normally means you're in a supervised managerial role or you're a project manager. All right? Working in lower class defines you as you're the cashier at Starbucks. All right? Or, you know what? You're the guy running the checkout at Walmart. Or at Tim Hortons. Or what? You're making coffees. You're doing whatever. That's not to say that's the only job you could be doing. These are examples of minimum wage jobs.
That's what you're doing right now.
So you're doing this, and now all of a sudden you see the changes. And they've slowly started rolling out. The cost of bread is more, which is affecting everybody. All right? You see it. And the stores are straight up with you in that they're telling you, oh, we're gonna freeze the price to $3.80 a loaf. I'm like, okay, but 8 months ago it was $1.99 for a loaf.
Yep.
So I appreciate you freezing the price and saying it's not going to go up, but that's just to help you adjust to the fact that the cost is changing.
But it's also like a trick, right?
It is. It's a mental trick.
Because at the end you go, oh, well, all right, it's going to be that way, but okay, but it was $2 literally 8 months ago. So what happened in that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So my question to you, because you guys are the audience, you guys are supposed to be smarter than me. You're supposed to have opinions just how we have opinions and everything like that. But my question is, how does it work in the sense that how would you go about phasing this stuff out or adjusting to higher minimum wage if you're a big company? Does it not make sense to get, say, a self-checkout kiosk? Does it not make sense to, try to minimize the amount of employees and saying, hey, if we can get 5 self-checkout kiosks and only have to pay 1 salary versus having 5 employees at checkouts, does that not decrease their costs? It's a higher overhead expense for them immediately up front, but then in the long run they save because they don't have to pay payroll anymore. They don't have to pay benefits. They don't have to pay anything.
Yeah. But I mean, is what people forget when they start doing changes like that is that it's like what we call like the invisible hand of the market, which will regulate everything, which means that you do a change and you think, oh, it's for the better. People are going to look at it and say, well, all right, well, I cut costs this way. So people need to stop going for the okie doke, which is like, oh, minimum rate, like, the minimum rate wage goes up, blah, 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 we make more money, great. But then that's just to get elected. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't fix the inflation that goes every year. It doesn't fix the fact that at the end, you're still paying more. It doesn't matter if I pay you $50 an hour, but then now your apartment is 4 times that. What the hell you were paying? It's the exact same thing. So,
I'm going to tell you right now, and don't get me wrong, I don't consider myself a stupid guy, but I don't consider myself the smartest guy in the world. But it seems to me like a simpler fix to combating, unemployment, because all this is going to do is create job loss, not going to create job openings, And the people that are going to be receiving a higher wage, you don't think they're going to have reduced hours? You think they're going to be working them the same? I don't. So now you're losing on 2 fronts. The people that are going to be receiving the increased wage are probably going to be losing hours, and you're going to have 90,000 projected jobs lost.
Yeah.
So how does that benefit the economy? All right?
Yep.
The way I see it being even easier for people to have a better living, if you will, or anything like that, is basically to say that it's as simple as doing, specialized training if you're a key person at your job, where there would be some sort of rebate that you would be receiving as a company. So example, I'm going to send Clinic because let's say I'm a bank and he's a teller at my bank or something like that.
Yep.
And I want to keep him. I'm going to send him to specialized training, or I'm going to want him to advance his career with us. So I'm going to pay for his mutual funds license. As long as he shows up to X amount of days of work and he proves that he's a reliable employee, I'll cover that cost.
Yeah.
So that A, he'll stay with me, B, he'll be receiving a promotion,
Yep.
and C, he's got a now specialized skill,
Yeah.
which makes him even more employable should he go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Does that not make more sense?
It does.
And now, as the bank offering that, I can say, hey, you know what? Let's say that mutual fund training was $3,000. I'm going to get a rebate of $2,000 back for offering that specialized training to Max, and Max completing it.
Yep.
It's exactly the same thing as an apprenticeship program, which I don't know why we're not putting more money into, seeing as all these fucking trade jobs are going to be opening up.
Yeah.
And again, my whole thing is this. So now you got 90,000 people homeless, potentially, looking for jobs that they don't have skills for because the jobs they're doing don't require any skills.
Yep.
And I'm not trying to say that I can make a fucking coffee better than somebody that's been working at Tim Hortons for 16 years, because don't take that out of that. You're fucking putting words in my mouth. What I am trying to say is, if you go to an employment center, they will classify The jobs that are now going up to $14 and potentially $15 if the Liberals are elected in June as a class 0 job, meaning there's no training aside from your orientation and a video on here's how we make coffee at Tim Hortons.
Yep.
All right? They didn't sit you down. You didn't have to go through a certified course where you got a diploma at the end. It wasn't required for you to do a WHMIS. It wasn't required for you to do a first aid or a CPR or anything. You know, you didn't have to be proficient in Excel. You didn't have to have a high school diploma.
Nope.
You didn't have to have a college degree.
Mm-hmm.
These are class 0 jobs. These are the ones where the minimum wage increase is going to be affecting.
Yep. Sure.
And my thing is, if I'm not the smartest guy in the world, and you're not the smartest guy in the world, Clinic, and we can figure this shit out, why is it people can't?
Well, simple, man, because at the end of the day, saying what you're saying doesn't equal to votes. It's really that simple. Because you look at who's working, right? So it goes like I want to say, kind of like a reverse cone, right? So you have the bottom of the bottom on one side. These are the extreme. Then you have like the super wealthy, and then like pretty much 60 to 70% is in the middle, right? Anywhere between like, all right, you're going by to you're doing pretty okay, but you're not very, very rich. But the problem with that is these are the people that are voting. So you have to go, for that demographic,
My issue is, and again, I just want to wrap up minimum wage because I gotta get on to the women's march in a second. All right, because I'm a little turned up about that too. But like I'm saying, the system is broken. I'm not saying it has to be perfect, but I'm saying if it's more well thought out and planned, if somebody spends the 11 minutes we've just spent actually thinking this out and actually thinking about how it would be beneficial versus the risk versus the reward, then you'll come to the same conclusions we have. All right? And again, like you discussed, Clinic, it's a tactic. All right? The Liberals are basically saying, hey, Kathleen Wynne screwed up, sold Hydro One, privatized it. Everyone's been paying out the ass for Hydro. Everybody wants the Liberals out for that as the main reason, among other reasons. And they're saying, hey, wait, if you get us back in office, Ontario, because I don't know why, but Ontario is the one that keeps screwing up. If you let us back in office, Ontario, then here's what we're going to do for you. We're going to create 90,000 jobs. Oh, sorry, we're going to take away 90,000 jobs.
Yeah. But for the one that will be remaining, then you get 50.
And less hours.
Yeah.
So, to my second point, because we rolling. Women's March. All right? Yo, look, here's my issue, all right? And I'm gonna say it, because you know what? I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to say it. I know people know who I am, and you know what? Congrats. Hats off to you. It's not really that hard to figure out. All right? But I'm Alessandro Tryhard, and I'm here saying it's a bad time to be a guy. All right? It's a bad time to have a penis, because everybody that's a feminist in the fucking world is after you right now.
Yeah.
And the reason they're after you is because a couple guys screwed up. All right? So now we're all held under the same microscope. But I mean, when one girl didn't pass the test to be an RCMP officer because she was too small and she physically couldn't carry a person out of a burning building to be a firefighter, or to meet the height restrictions or the weight restrictions or anything like that to be an RCMP officer, what did we do? We had to be equal. So we didn't lower the standard for men, we lowered the standard for women.
Yeah.
So that we could be equal.
Well,
all right?
Equal.
But all I'm saying is, we didn't let a couple cases subjugate everything.
Correct.
In a negative aspect. All right? We took it, we built it on, and we're like, you know what? We will be more equal, but we'll be more positive.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
It didn't come from a negative place. It wasn't saying, oh yeah, no women can ever achieve this because guys are superior.
No.
It didn't come from that.
No.
It was, these are physical requirements, let's meet them, let's do that. But I'm saying it's a bad time to be a guy because now we're being blamed for everything Harvey Weinstein did. All right? And this article in the Centertown News, again, a paper that I didn't even know fucking existed. And I've been in Ottawa for 17 years now. Would also like to call out Kevin Spacey in this article for the March for Women. Kevin Spacey was allegedly involved with several young men. So I don't know what the fuck that has to do with the Women's March. But he's in there, which just goes to show you that the writing really doesn't give a shit about the topic.
Nope.
It's just about fanning the flames.
Yep.
Which is what's got me rattled. Because my attitude is, if you're going to be a writer with integrity, stick to your points and stick to the topic.
Yeah.
My thing is this. Women have had the power forever. And any feminist that wants to challenge me on that,
Go ahead.
go ahead. We'll go 10 rounds. But I'm just saying, you guys have always had the power.
Yeah.
And in the last 20 years especially.
Yeah.
All right?
Mm-hmm.
I've said it in videos. I'll say it again. There's never been a war started over a dick. Nobody's ever said, I'm going to war for that guy's dick.
Never.
All right?
Never
And you guys can say, oh my God, you know what? These guys are cavemen. They're assholes. They're whatever. I'm just curious how you got to this video, because I've kind of not changed my tune in 20-something videos.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you've hated me, then you've hated me throughout.
Yeah, but I mean, that's that. But also, at the end of the day, you could say that, but you don't have an argument per se. So at the end of the day, you're just proving us right. Right? Like, you basically, this whole thing about feminists that I hate, it's like, it's about, being superior. They want to hide it, they want to say it's equal, but it's not, because whenever there's issues when females are on top or they have the advantage, I don't see no incentives from feminists trying to make it equal for men, right? Because we look at colleges, we look at universities, 70 to 80% are filled with women. 80% of female get their bachelors. They are the highest people that get their masters and their PhDs. Well, okay, so where's the incentive for, to make sure that guys are more motivated in order to finish those? I don't see any. Right? If a female kills someone, and then the same circumstances happen for a male, 9 times out of 10 the male gets a harsher sentence for doing the exact same thing.
100%, yeah.
I don't see anyone fighting for that. So at the end of the day, it's just a big joke. It's just like, well, we're not equal on certain points, so we want to be superior on that. And on the points where we're already beating you over everything, like, literally, I can sleep with a guy and then decide 6 months later that, I wasn't completely sure of what the fuck I was doing. Then this whole notion of, you need to obtain consent and all that, it's bullshit. Because at the end of the day, right, if I say to someone, hey, fix my roof, then they fuck up my roof, I can't say I never allowed them to fix the roof. I just don't like the job that they did.
Exactly.
So why is it a thing that a female can go back and say that, but then they want to say, 1 out of 5 in their lifetime, get molested or whatever the fuck. But my thing is, we're not talking about jails, because at the end of the day, if you want to talk about like rape victims, they're mostly men. Oh, but they don't count because they're in jail. I get it. So there's no arguments here.
My thing is this. You touched on it beautifully, Clinic, and it's, people are feminists when it's convenient. Who did they just go after recently? I think it was Aziz Ansari.
Yeah. And
they were like, oh, look, even his character on the show, he's a feminist on the show.
Yeah.
And how could he be doing this? How could he be doing... But again, all this is circumstantial, right? I'm not out here trying to say who's right and who's wrong, or who's actually telling the truth, or who's coming forward just to get their 15 seconds of fame.
Yeah.
But I'm saying there is that. And there are those cases.
Yeah.
All right? I'm also not trying to say that these don't happen. Maybe they do. Maybe they don't. I'm not here to say who was actually in the wrong and who actually was framed. All right? But all I'm saying is I can think of a case, and we both saw this story, where the top recruited athlete in basketball, I believe it was in 2007, projected to go to the NBA.
Yeah.
all of a sudden everything falls through because this gentleman's accused of rape.
Yep.
All right? He's accused of rape, and it's dragged on for 8 years in court. 8 years this guy's saying, hey, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. Do you think he was drafted? No. Do you think anybody wanted to associate him? No. And the funniest thing is after 8 years, the woman's like, actually, I made it up.
Yep.
So what is the penalty for that?
None.
She ruined his life.
Yep, literally.
And this is one of many cases. Now, I'm not trying to say that it needs to be weighted or it's unfair or you know what, this doesn't happen to females, because I know the coin flips on two sides. I just think it's interesting to me how you brought it up, Clinic, that nobody's fighting for us. Where's our justice in these social situations?
There is none.
There is none.
Yep.
But I'm expected to be PC.
All the time.
All the time. I'm supposed to be going and combating microaggressions. You know, I'm supposed to be
an invention.
I'm supposed to be going after the fact that people don't feel equal in the workplace, or how I can't tell somebody that they're attractive because it could be construed as sexual harassment.
Yeah, but then again, look, even for that, and that's the irony, right? It would be harassment because they're not attracted to you, which makes the argument irrelevant. An action, right, can't be basically when you judge an action in a moral sense of way, it needs to be, is it morally good or morally bad, right? It can't just flip because you decide that, well, this guy or this girl, you know, I don't approve of their looks, I would never be with them, therefore it's harassment. But then the same guy doing the exact same thing, or the same girl doing the exact same thing, because I'm attracted, now it's not an issue. I never understood that aspect. Somebody coming up to you saying, hey, you're attractive, or hey, whatever, you had a nice outfit, like, where's the harm? Like, there's no harm in there. There's absolutely none. Now you guys want to go ahead and say, oh, you know, it's this and that, catfish, blah, blah, blah. But it's not that. That's just like trigger words that feminists have invented to just vilify everything. Because at the end of the day, most stories are what? Oh, I was walking around with my coffee, and then I was running to work, and then I saw this girl, and then boom, now we're married, now with this, now with that.
But that's what I'm saying. If this continues, these examples can't exist. You know, the only reason people can date online now is because they feel like it's safe. Because they feel like, look, either the girl's gonna tell me she feels me, or she's gonna tell me she's not interested, and then I don't have to get myself into one of these social situations. God forbid you go to a bar and you try to hit on somebody, and then, oh my God, you just... I'm not trying to say that it's especially bad here. I'm just trying to say I picked up this newspaper. These were the topics. That's where I'm going the fuck off. All right? Help Ottawa. Look, as always, guys, we are Alessandra Tryhard and the Calling Out Clinic.
Yep.
Stick tuned for more videos. We're going to try to have some more shit out for you. And we out.
Yep. Peace.